Welcome to another edition of WorldView. My name is Dean.
And I'm Caroline. Our lead story has been in the news for over 2 weeks. It is about the missing Malaysian 777 passenger plane. Several parts that may be from the missing plane have been seen off the coast of Australia. Last Sunday, a satellite relayed images of wreckage parts. On Wednesday, other parts were seen. The plane has been missing for 14 days. It had 239 passengers on board. Officials in Australia do not know if the parts are from the plane or a ship. As the conditions of the Indian Ocean get much better, the search continues to grow larger.
Russian forces have moved into Crimea, and in a referendum on Sunday, citizens of Crimea voted to allow Russia to annex this former part of Ukraine. The United States and other European countries have condemned Russia's actions. Russian officials have stated that they have the right to move into Crimea to protect ethnic Russians. Crimea contains a very important Russian naval port.
Yesterday, Turkey shot down a Syrian fighter jet after the warplane flew into Turkish airspace. Turkish armed forces reported that 2 Syrian planes were spotted and warned 4 times about approaching. A Turkish official told reporters, "Our F-16s went up into the air and shot the plane down. Why? Because if you violate my airspace, then from now on our slap will be hard." Turkey is presently providing sanctuary for tens of thousands of refugees who have fled from the violence of Syria's civil war.
Japan is turning over large amounts of nuclear materials to the United States. The materials plutonium and uranium are enough to make dozens of nuclear weapons. Since they had not been guarded well, Japan released them in an effort to keep them out of the hands of terrorists.
In Beijing, China, First Lady Michelle Obama has been visiting with her 2 daughters and her mother. The trip was supposed to be a non-political one in which she emphasized the importance of education, but Mrs. Obama's trip did become political on Saturday when she spoke at Peking University about the importance of freedom of speech, specifically in media. She said that it is very important to hear all sides of every argument, and stated that the United States is very lucky to have human rights and freedom.
It has been reported that the Ebola virus has been found in the African nation of Guinea. The strain has not yet been identified. Already 3 dozen people have died, and the infection rate is increasing rapidly. The virus is especially difficult to identify since the early symptoms are those of yellow fever, and doctors treat patients for yellow fever without even realizing they are dealing with Ebola.
Violence struck in Iraq last Friday, resulting in 38 deaths. The majority of casualties happened in Sunni towns and cities. One of the deadliest attacks happened north of Baghdad, when a suicide bomber drove a truck loaded with explosives right into a federal police headquarters. The rest of the attacks were by car bombers and suicide bombers.
It appears that even our nation's former leaders are not protected from surveillance by the National Security Council. Former President Jimmy Carter has reported that he believes the NSA has been tracking his emails. President Carter said that surveillance practices have been extremely liberalized, and he thinks that they have been abused by our intelligence agencies.
The Israeli military announced that they found a recently dug tunnel that stretched hundreds of yards from the Gaza Strip into Israel. They believe that this tunnel could have been used by Palestinians to kidnap or attack Israelis. People have said that this is the most advanced tunnel they have seen. They were able to find it due to rainy weather that caused the tunnel to collapse. 3 other tunnels similar to this one in Gaza were discovered last year. John Bryce has the weather report.
The weather for Saturday will be rainy and cloudy with a high of 66 degrees and a low of 37 degrees. On Sunday, the weather will be sunny and cloudy with a high of 57 and a low of 34. And now for our pick town of the week. On Saturday, in Boring, Oregon, the high will be 55 degrees and the low will be 41 degrees. On Sunday, it will be rainy with a high of 52 and a low of 36 degrees. Be safe and have a good spring break.
Thanks, John Bryce. That's WorldView for this week. Tune in again after the break.
Thanks for watching today. We hope you have a great spring break. Have fun, but be safe.